Blog Talk Radio.
Power in the people. Power in the people. Power in the people. Power in the people. We gon' fight, we gon' shout for our rights without a doubt. We gon' love, we gon' sing, we gon' rise and do our thing. We gon' stand and join hands, united as one, we're in demand. Hear our voice, young and old, fight the lies, let the truth be told. Power in the people. Power in the people.
What's up, family? This is the Bill 720. It's a wonderful day today. Today the topic is names and why they are important. It's going to have to be pretty short. I got a lot of stuff to do today. So I'd like to read you an article on, looks like BehindTheName.com. The title of the article is Names and Personal Identity. I'll be reading a couple of paragraphs. So if you want to check out the rest of the article, once again, go on BehindTheName.com. And this article is written by H. Edward Delusion. All right, let's go. This year, more than 120 million babies will be born on Earth. Those who survive will sooner or later undergo the initiation process of receiving a name. At one time, anthropologists thought that some groups of people were so primitive, quote, end quote, and unorganized that they didn't use names. We now know that the anthropologists were mistaken and that the idea came about because research field workers were not able to get inside the minds of the people well enough to understand the customs and taboos that require the names be kept secret from strangers. The truth is that names are a part of every culture and that they are of enormous importance both to people who receive names and to societies that give them. To the societies that given them. Oh yeah, that was right. Despite their universality, there's a great deal of difference from one culture to another in how names are given. Among most pre-literate peoples, names are determined according to very definite and specific rules. Generally, in cultures with a keen sense of ancestry, children get their names from the totems and family trees of their parents. In some cultures, names are taken from events which happen during the pregnancy of the mother or shortly after the birth of the child. And in others, names are divined through magic and incantation. In some cases, the name given at birth is only the first of several names a person will bear throughout life. When this happens, the new names are given either to mark important milestones in life or to ward off evil spirits by tricking them into thinking that the person with the old name has disappeared. Regardless of when, why, or how often it happens, though, the giving and receiving of a name is an event of major importance. Quite frequently, the significance of names is emphasized by elaborate rituals that almost always have deep religious meaning. One rather dramatic example of this is the naming ceremony of the Kasi people in Africa. Among these people, children are named within a day of their birth. The ceremony begins. A relative of the child prepares a sacrifice by pouring rice meal into small dishes and filling a gourd with rice liquor. After an invocation, the relatives pour the liquor into the rice meal while reciting a list of names. The name the child will have is the one the relative recites during the pouring of the drop of liquor that takes the longest to leave the bottle. Once the names is discovered, quote, end quote, in this way, they anoint the baby's feet with the meal and liquor paste, and the parents' relatives eat the paste. Even after swinging it over the babies 3 times, the father leaves the group to bury the placenta. The gore of a placenta flying through the air and the mess of a baby smeared with rice paste may not correspond very well with Western notions of what a ceremony is supposed to be. Yet an objective observer might well remark that some of the things Christians do in christening rites, which are generally considered solemn and dignified, are not at all that different from some of the elements of the Kasi naming ceremony. This is especially true of the baptismal ceremony of the Catholic Church. Although in the eyes of the Church, the rite of baptism is not primarily a naming ceremony, the giving of the baptismal or Christian name is certainly a part of it. In the Catholic baptismal ceremony, the priest meets the parents, godparents, and baby at the door of the church building, and the first thing he says is, quote, "What name do you give your child?" End quote. After the parents answer this and other questions, the priest invites the parents and godparents to trace the sign of the cross on the child's forehead, and then they move into the main body of the building for the rest of the christening. After reading from one of the Gospels, special prayers, and the recitation of part of the Litany of the Saints, the priest anoints the child with holy oils. Then follow the pouring of water on the child's forehead 3 times, which technically constitutes the actual baptism. A second anointing with oil occurs, and the parents receive a white garment to put on the child. The priest then lights a ceremonial candle and presents it to the father or godfather or on behalf of the child. The ceremony concludes with an additional prayers. The article goes on and on, but we'll go ahead and stop there. If you want to read the rest of the article, once again, go on to behindthename.com, do a search for names and personal identity, and it's written by Edward Delusion. Pretty good article, good stuff in there. I'll name some recited works or that he recites. One of the sources is Lucille Hoerr. Hopefully I pronounced the name right. Lucille Hoerr Charles, Hoerr. The journal is looks like it's from Journal of American Folklore, Drama in First Naming Ceremonies. Another source is by Harold Fieldman, The Problem of Personal Names as a Universal Element in Culture. Names of Twins by Robert Plank. Collegeville, Liturgical, The Rite of Baptism. Collegeville, Liturgical Press. Or Liturgical Press. The Rite of Baptism. Frank Rose. Looks like from Real Men. And Elton C. Smith, Treasury of Name Lore. So you can go ahead and check out those resources. I would like to give thanks to my parents for naming me and sitting down together and really thinking about naming me. I do appreciate them, and I appreciate them for giving me life. I appreciate everyone around me. I appreciate my children's mother, and I appreciate that we both went in and really sat down and thought about how and what we were going to name our children. I think it's very important, culturally speaking, that we as individuals really think about how we are going to name our child, because the child's going to grow up obviously with that name for the rest of their lives. So once again, salutations to everyone, and may you go in peace. Next week, September the 6th, 2015, I'll be having a dynamic guest on, and so please check it out. We're going to be going into culture, what it is, and is it important in modern times. All right, I'm out.